Good morning, truckers. I'm Josh Jones. 7 new victims were found last night in the Grayson Cemetery, the newest slayings of the Clintonville slasher. Wait, hold on. It's just in. We have a video, apparently, of the Clintonville slasher, but I must warn you, viewer discretion is advised. It looks like we found his last victim. My name is Lurch Frankenfox, and I hide in the shadows of this small town. And you are my latest victim. I am the Clintonville Slasher. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Clintonville Slasher. I'm your host, Lurch Frankenfox. Today I'm joined by Mr. Joey Lowe of LDR Records and Jessica East of LDR Records. Joey's in 2 bands, Dragnon and Happy Hour Homicide. Thank you so much guys for being here. Welcome to the show.
What's up, man? Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Alright, my name's Joey. I 41 years old from Bluefield, West Virginia. Owner and founder of Living Dead Recordings. And like you say, I'm also in the band Dragnon, which has been around since 2005. Me and a name you guys will all find familiar, TB Monstrosity, Blitzkid, actually helped me found Dragnon. Happy Hour Homicide has actually been around for a while. I only joined about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years now. So I play bass in both bands. So Jess.
So I'm Jessica, 35 years old, originally from Bluefield, Virginia, moved to the Boston area of Massachusetts for almost 12 years, and then came back and started working with Joey with LDR. Daytime job, I'm a massage therapist. For anybody needing a massage, come see me. And as far as getting into the music scene, when I was in high school, I started going to Blitzkid shows and started meeting other bands and met a band they were on tour with, Mongrel, which is how I ended up moving to the Boston area. And while I was up there, I was doing merch for them, got more involved in working with merch, some of the little bit of the management side of things, not too much. Mainly just merch, and so when I obviously came back, I knew if I could get into working with Joey, that was my in working the music scene in Bluefield and the surrounding areas here.
Very cool, very cool. Well, it's very nice to meet you guys. Joey, you're also a author on top of many other things. Tell us a little bit about your book.
Yeah, actually, I'm wearing the shirt for it.
Sweet.
The book's actually entitled Punk Rock Junkie, and what it is it's music / addiction memoirs. I got into music probably, I think it was 97, 98 when I first started trying to get in. It took a couple of years for me to successfully find a way in. I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew that's what I wanted to do with life, in life. And I come from a long line. My family was always either military or law enforcement or both. So I didn't have any real family support for that career choice until I enlisted in the military. I did 2 years, kind of like right before 9/11. So fortunately, didn't get sent off anywhere because I just got out and was working at McDonald's as a shift manager. Still hadn't really got all the way into music yet. Was expecting my oldest son. He was on his way. I got an opportunity, actually, just a little bit before. I got a little ahead of myself there. My first ex-wife wanted me to go to a show with her and her friends. It was here in Bluefield, and I didn't really want to go. I remember I was back and forth about it. But that show, a place called Hamptons, just a couple blocks over from where I lived at, was they had like a Wednesday night draft special. Like the place was packed, a bunch of college kids there and stuff, and one of the bands playing was Blitzkid.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd never heard of them. I'd never heard of horror punk. I was strictly, a typical metalhead. So Metallica, Slayer, all that. But I went with her, and my friend was actually working the door, which he later became the guitarist for Dragnon.
Okay.
But when I seen he was working, I knew somebody, so I was comfortable. And, of course, it doesn't matter now to say this, but I got, marked of age to drink, so I was instantly happy. So, I'm up there, and I was walking up the steps, and I heard, the song I heard was In Infinitus Sleepus, also known as Lullaby.
My favorite.
That sound, like, with hard punk stuff, I'd never heard that before, and, like, that song had me hooked right there.
Right.
And, I said my friend is working, Gibby. He knew TB and Stu, their original drummers, so he introduced me. And so after a couple of months of getting to work with them, after a couple of months of going there and talking with them, got an opportunity to work with them.
That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So that's how I got into the music business. Everything that comes with that lifestyle, though. Like I was saying with the memoirs, it's a music, slash addiction. Unfortunately, with the music business comes all the typical, I guess, cliche things, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So, of course, partying and that lifestyle, I became, obsessed with it. And that's pretty much all I wanted to do. In fact, I had worried so much more about the partying aspect of it than I did actually taking it seriously or anything. So, unfortunately, my first stint of working with Blitzkid did not last that long because that's what I was focused on. And then, moving on, I actually got out for a couple of years. My son was born, and I had to focus on, trying to make that marriage work.
Right.
That was unsuccessful. 2004, I got back in. And that's when Living Dead Recordings was founded and opened. And then shortly thereafter, Dragnon, about a year after, which TV helped me found that band. And everything was kind of on and off because Blitzkid is around the same time Blitzkid started getting really popular and successful. So they started touring, Europe their first time. So Dragnon kind of got put on the back burner, as of course, that's, and we understood that too with TV and the band that Blitzkid was first.
Right.
So, but a couple of years goes by on and off, and in 2008, Dragnon got back together and was doing really well. We released our first EP, which was just some covers by other horror punk bands. It was tribute to our influences, if you will. But unfortunately, and this is where I guess the addiction part. I've dabbled on and off with opiates and stuff through the years and drinking. And 2009, our drummer from Dragnon, Eric Cox, called him E-Rock. March 29, 2009, Eric overdosed and passed away.
It's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And I took that really hard. Eric and I were really, really, really tight. We were roommates in a band together. We worked together. We were like brothers. So when Eric passed, my, at that time, recreational drug problem, obviously it escalated. As I had, it's called survivor's guilt. I didn't know what that was at the time. But now that I work in recovery and have been for a while, I completely understood what I was going through then, which I had no idea.
Right.
But I spent about 6 months trying to catch up with Eric, intentionally, just trying to. Fortunately, I never had the enough money to accomplish the goal, so I just stayed. I was either drinking myself to sleep or passing out from one illicit drug or another. And a few months goes by, let's say 6, 7 months. And what really sucked is Dragnon still had shows we were obligated to. And a couple of them were contractual, we were contractually obligated.
Right.
So we had to get someone to fill in on drums for those shows.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the ones was Hot Topic in North Carolina. And, we had to keep that obligation.
Right.
We did an acoustic in-store set to promote the CD and the show we were playing later that night.
Right.
But, So, like, I tried to start processing the grief and, try to start accepting, try to, get myself calmed down. And I woke up for the first time ever dope sick. But I'd not taken a break in all those months. I didn't know what it was. I thought I had the flu or something. And a friend of mine, who I also now work with in recovery, he was telling me that's what it was. So at that point, and that was one of the scariest moments of my life, because I knew at that point I no longer had control of the drug use.
Right.
And very strong-willed person. I felt always doubted, like I felt there was nothing that could beat me.
Right.
I guess cockiness of like, oh, I'm not going to be an addict. I'm not those people. But and something else I didn't understand too. It doesn't matter who you are, what part of life, wherever you come from. They could happen to anyone at any time.
Yeah.
And when it happened to me, I was very unaccepting at first and angry with myself, angry in general. And but I was trying to keep it under control, and I went on for a couple of years like that. Dragging on in 2010. Once we were finished with all the things that we had to do, that we were obligated to, Dragging on took a break again. And it was probably like 2.5 years before we got back together. But during that time, I worked with other bands, like for instance, and unfortunately for me, it was a great experience. Blitzkid's last tour, the last North American tour, was like I think 32, 33 days. I got to go out on that with them.
Wow.
Which was really cool, because I've been on like many tours with them. Like there's about like an 11-day stint in 2009. Just it helped. Me and Goolsby were the only two drivers, so I'd work merch or roadie, just whatever needed done.
Right.
But I went on that last tour with them, and then 2013 I had worked with the Roving Midnight with Goolsby, so I got to And are you familiar with the Ghouls Night Out show?
No, I'm not.
That was a big horror punk fest up in Jersey. It started out in North Carolina in like 2002.
Okay.
A guy named Matt Pathetic, he put it on, but it only lasted 1 year there. Then like it returned 2012, because that was the last North American show that Blitzkid played was G&O, 2012. And I got to go back in 13 and work with the Roving Midnight. And then in 14, it was back to North Carolina where it started. But 14, Dragnon was working on like our first, I guess, original, release of originals. And for whatever reason was going on with our guitarist Gibby at the time, like he just decided he was going to quit out of nowhere, and kind of left us hanging. So the band, unfortunately, once again went away. And at this point, I felt completely like whatever. I felt like I couldn't go any farther, and like the band was cursed. Like just every time we got close to something, tragedy would strike.
Right.
So I decided just to hang it up. I was just going to retire from music altogether and just be done with it, And I'm still all this time, I'm struggling with the drug problem on and off. Like I managed to get clean and home a couple of times on my own. But I would replace one with another. I'd drink. So I was always doing something. I just could not live life on life's terms, which is saying for the program. But once I hung up music, I didn't have anything left. So there's a complete void there. And the only thing that I could fill that void with was drugs. So unfortunately, from 14 to 17, I went through a lot of life changes, relationships, etc. I ended up meeting my wife that I'm married to now in 15. And this is the first time I was ever honest with a girl up front about this issue, because I told her while we were talking, I was like, listen, I'm a drug addict, and there's going to be good times and bad times, and when they're bad, they're going to be real bad. I was like, and I'm kind of like maintained right now, etc. But we talked, she accepted that, I guess, a challenge. She'd never been exposed to any of that, but she said she felt something, she wanted to pursue it, so we did. But unfortunately, as I told her, when it's bad, it's going to be real bad. And that's what happened. I got completely, 2016, I got completely strung out to where I could no longer control it or maintain. And this series led up until, I made it, October 13th, 2016, we got married. October 14th, I was arrested for shoplifting. I mean, and I've been doing it all summer, little things to, support my drug habit.
Right.
Just wherever I could. And, so January of 2017, I had to go to rehab. And I've been through a couple of detox centers. Actually, the detox center is the company I work for now. And so I was there as a consumer, or as we call them, or patient, client, whatever, for the first time in 14, and just kind of dabbled on after that. But yes, in January 2017, I went to rehab. I made it 2.5 weeks. Walked out because I thought that I was cured. Right. I wasn't dope sick anymore. I had this burst of ambition or whatever. I made it, I think, 3 or 4 months. 3 or 4 days after I left rehab before I started using it again. Wow. It was 3 or 4 months later that everything came to a head. As you and I had spoken a little bit earlier on the phone, I had decided that I was going to commit suicide. I was going to overdose intentionally. So I went and committed a robbery to get the money to do it, which the way it worked out, there wasn't enough money for me to be able to do that because I'd waited so long, which is good. Fortunately now, I'm glad it went that way. But so instead of that working out, I went to jail, which was the best thing that could have happened. And as much as it sucked, it was a life-changing experience, and I had a lot of time in jail to reflect and to get my bearings. So when I got out of jail in Virginia, which is where I had been arrested at, I still had the robbery charges faced in West Virginia, because I'd had some little stuff pending in Virginia where I'd been doing, shenanigans here and there to support the drug habit. So those caught up with me. But I did 14.5 months there, then come to West Virginia to face those charges. And my wife, at the time, when I went to Virginia, my bond was set at $250 because they hadn't put a hold on me yet for the robbery charge. And she would not bail me out. And I was angry about that. And here I am thinking, this just shows you the selfishness of a drug addict. I'm like, why won't you get me out of jail? It's only $250, I'm not thinking about the fact that I just, fucking robbed the place. Yeah. And I was trying to overdose. No, I'm thinking about I need to get out of jail so I can get high. Yeah. I'm completely just, insanity. It comes with, that lifestyle. But 14.5 months later, I was extradited to West Virginia, and I had a $40,000 bond, which, 10% of that will get you out. So $4,000. And I had accepted the fact that, I'm just going to have to do my time. I'd already made peace with that. Yeah. So I called her and told her, I was like, well, I'm here. I got over here safely. I'm processed. They said a bond for like $40,000. So, I was like, I told her, I was like, it's going to be a couple of days before I get into a pod. I'll call you with the, when I get settled, give you the mailing address, etc. And she's like, well, we'll see you by about 11 tonight. She's like, me and your dad are coming to get you. And that's because during my stay in Virginia in jail, my mentality obviously had changed. And right when I thought she was about to leave me, things turned around, and she started, coming to visit me. And she said that there was one of my letters I'd sent about 3 months in that she recognized the words that was her husband again. That like the strung out junkie part was dead, and she recognized who she was talking to again. So she wasn't going to give up, which was extremely unexpected and really awesome.
Yeah. Well, man, I know that we don't. What's that? What's
No,
that?
go ahead. What's yours?
Oh, I was gonna say, I know that we don't know each other personally, but I'm very proud of you for what you've accomplished. That's very commendable. I'm happy that you're past that in your life. That's super awesome, man. I'm sorry that you had to go through all that, but I'm glad that you're here now.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
And, those things were rough to go through, but they were needed.
Yeah.
They were needed. And those things made me who I am right now.
Yeah, that's true.
And like I was telling you on the phone too, it's like, I'm not ashamed or anything about my addiction, and hence the book is I'm hoping that my story will maybe help someone.
Right.
And then plus it helped me as part of the recovery too. Is you have to be selfish.
Right.
Because you got to put yourself first in your recovery first. So for me, writing that book and getting it finished was closure.
Absolutely.
Like I said, they came and got me that night, and which is where it got kind of interesting because, out of jail, clean in my hometown, it was a bit of a struggle. And for about 3 or 4 months, I was okay. I learned how to tattoo while I was locked up, so dabbled, and I got an apprenticeship with who's actually the guitarist in Happy Hour Homicide, another band. He owned the shop, and I got an apprenticeship there and was working on that. Well, unfortunately, I was trying to. I don't know what state of mind I was in, but I was on probation out of Virginia, and I was thinking life was good. My wife had found a house while I was locked up for our home.
Mm-hmm.
And we had all these goals and stuff. It's like I forgot I'm still facing 10 to life in West Virginia for armed robbery. And when the indictments came out that fall, it was a reality check.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I did what addicts do. I started getting high to numb it, and because I didn't want to go back.
Right.
It's like I felt like obviously I don't I don't know the state of mind. It's like I felt like I'd done my time for the mistake I made.
Right.
Now I got to go face all this, and I was scared. I was and not really so much scared of doing the time. I was scared of the fact that I finally got my shit together, and now this.
Yeah.
But I'd heard about this program here, Recovery Point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a year-long program. It's Department of Corrections is affiliated with it. It's a behavioral modification program. So I failed a couple of drug screens with my probation officer, and she strongly suggested that I go to this program. And I did that ahead of my sentencing. So I got to Recovery Point February, I think 11th or 12th. Yeah, I went to our detox center here February 6th, 2019. And then I finished that, came home, packed, and I got to Recovery Point. I think it was on the February 13th, I think is when it was in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was an extremely hard program, a very challenging program, and they really make you take a look at yourself and on the inside and out. And I still didn't know what was going to happen as far as my legal charges went. My lawyers worked out a plea to where I could do alternative sentencing if the judge seemed fit to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of 10 to life, it was now down to 2 to 10. Because during the robbery, I actually never pulled the weapon out. I wasn't trying to scare anyone or do anything. I just needed to get enough money to accomplish my goal. And I needed to do something so bad, there was no going back from it. So I would go through with the other part.
Right.
Unfortunately, none of that worked out. But, so I went to Recovery Point in February. My sentencing was April 22nd of 2019. And Judge Derek Swope with Mercer County here, he's a very commendable man for a judge. Unfortunately, his son passed away due to an overdose. And he's a huge advocate of Recovery Point, and he actually throws a couple of times a year. They have a really big dinner for everyone that's in the program, and Judge Swope comes to the dinner.
Oh, that's cool.
He associates with us, sits down and breaks bread with us.
It's very cool.
We're people to him. We're not just drug addicts.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, for a judge, that is extremely awesome. Very cool of him.
It's very, very cool.
Well, when Judge Swope learned that I was in Recovery Point, he gave me a chance. He said, he sees that I'm doing what I need to be doing. And I had someone go with me from there to speak for me. And I've been obeying the program, you know, even though a lot of things I didn't agree with, I didn't like it, I didn't want to be there, I was homesick, I just wanted it over with, etc., etc.
Right.
You know, he told me if I complete recovery point, he'll suspend, you know, the jail sentence will go away. And then I'll be on probation until my POC's fit. He said 7 years, or until she decides, you know, that she thinks I'm good to go. So I went ahead and continued the program, and there's a couple times I almost left.
Right.
And I'm really glad I didn't, because for one, it had been a violation, and I went to prison after all.
Yeah.
But so I stuck it out, and during the last part of the program, they give you an opportunity to either work there teaching classes, or you can go to the other aftercare program and work in the community.
Right.
So I worked as a peer mentor there teaching classes, and I really liked it. So I graduated there December 27th, 2019, and February 3rd, 2020, I started working for the company I work for now, Southern Highlands. And I'm a peer recovery support specialist. So I've been doing that now for about 2.5 years. And while I was finishing, while I was working there, I went ahead and I finished up the book.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought all the way up to date until I think it was January 13, 2021 is when I actually got it finished.
Okay.
Okay, and I submitted this to Page Publishing in New York, and they picked it up. And this is for like first-time authors and stuff. So as soon as I can work out taking care of the licensing fees and such, there will be a release date for it.
Sweet. Yeah. We'll look. I look forward to reading it.
Yeah, and this is something too. Like if anybody's really interested, you know, hearing my story or like something. If you want to post on your page or in the group or whatever, I'm happy to email anyone a copy of it. I didn't write this book for money.
Right.
Wrote it to help. Maybe helps. You know, you never know where this could help someone.
Exactly.
And like I said, I also wrote it for closure for myself. So
exactly.
And I think the big thing with that book too, because I've read the book, Joey emailed it to me. It's very eye-opening for someone like myself who's never dealt with somebody with a drug addiction and what they really go through. With how he explains it, he kind of takes you on that journey with him.
Right.
And it gives a better understanding of what people are going through that are dealing with addiction and recovery and everything that involves.
Right. Yeah, and I look forward to reading it. It sounds very interesting. So.
And sorry it took a second to explain all that when you asked about it, though. I wanted to be as thorough as possible.
Absolutely, no, that's totally fine. So, well, unfortunately, we've run out of time today, but join us tomorrow. You can find all Joey's links in the description box below. I want to thank you guys for being here, and until next time, I will see you later. Stay home.